All right, we are on time now, and let's get started. So, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to all of you, depending where you are located. I think most of us are from India or Southeast Asia, so it must be around afternoon time for all of us. So, thank you for joining again, and I'm sure you all, I'm assuming that you guys are developers or probably aspiring developers or founders who want to build something and want to leverage AI to build your products or MVPs or, your product, your applications faster, right? So let's get started and I'll quickly just introduce myself first. I think some of you might have joined earlier also, so you may know me, Santosh, or even our organization. But those who've joined for the first time, a quick introduction. So I'm Varun Toladia from Navan.ai, and today we have with us Santosh as well, who is the founder of Navan.ai. Santosh will be mostly talking about the content, all the knowledge that we are going to share today. So Santosh has been in the AI and IT space. Started with IT and been now been more into AI, has been more into AI. It's been more than 25 years that he's been working on services, and then he's developed and launched several products. And Sam.naman.ai, which is one of the products that we're also going to be talking about today for spec coding, is also built and launched by Santosh. So that's a quick introduction about us. And as an organization, Navan.ai, I'll just give a one-liner introduction, and Santosh will probably speak a little more about it. We are a generative AI products and solutions company, and we also offer boot camp on spec coding for people who probably have an idea and want to build a product or an application or an MVP out of it. So that's where we help them out. So we also teach people how to use spec coding, what spec coding is, and then how to use spec coding to build something at the end of that boot camp. So that's a little bit about us. And moving on, today we are going to be talking about, on a broad level, the agenda is that how do you go from building an MVP and then scaling up to a product. On the same lines, we're also going to be talking about how to, if you have an idea, how do you build an MVP or how do you take it to the level of a product, monetizable product, or say a product that you can ask investors to put money into and so on, right? So the idea is to use AI agents or an AI development team for the same. And we're going to be talking about spec coding. So all of you might have heard of or even done vibe coding, but spec coding is a little ahead of that. I mean, little, but I'm saying little, but it's actually far ahead of it. And that's what we're going to be talking about and understanding how spec coding works, what it is, and so on. So moving on from here, and I'll invite Santosh to share more. Uh, and Santosh, the floor is all yours.
Yeah, okay. So maybe I can share my screen.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, or you want to?
No, you can share your screen. That'll be easier.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, those who have any questions, you can always just drop your questions in the chat box, and we'll probably take up the questions at the end, just so that we don't break the flow.
Yeah. So maybe we can start up with this question: whether anyone has developed any application using vibe coding or spec coding, and do you have any favorite tools that you have used, or you want to share anything, your experience in vibe coding?
You guys can unmute yourselves and ask and sorry, share your experiences.
Hi, sir. This is Sairam this side. I'm builder from Mumbai. I have experience in a white coding tool. I'm a V0 brand ambassador also. It's a Versal. And I
Okay.
do white coding tool a lot of ways. And because every day which comes in my mind, some future ideas, which product I just want to build. So I make structurized documentation. Then it comes to visuality, whatever feature I want to highlight in my product, making it live. And I build a lot of. I have the more curiosity I get when I use this vibe coding tool, how my products look like, what elements and UX improvement I can add in my product. So in my past experience, my last company in fintech application, I built very scratch products from direct tool with V0. So it's very helpful me faster, and I build very manual design in this using vibe coding tool.
So, do you work for Versal or you are
As a
only a
freelancing, currently I'm working as a
freelancer
brand ambassador.
as a brand ambassador? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else want to share what uh, vibe coding experience you have? So,
We have,
yes, Anurag.
Mhm. Yeah, hi. We have also recently done vibe coding and came up with the prototype of the product.
Mm-hmm.
Our experience is a mixed experience. Probably, yeah, we ended up with a lot of tech debts, and we realized that we cannot miss the kind of quality it got. We cannot
Mm-hmm.
ship it, and we might need to rewrite the whole thing. So
Okay.
I'm not sure, but yeah, that's uh, we
Yeah,
got the POC done, but probably uh, I feel I should have
you
in
should
more
have started with.
control earlier. Yes.
Yeah,
Uh,
you feel that you have more control when you are actually coding yourself than doing vibe coding, right?
yeah, probably
Yeah, and then
that's my experience till now. Probably it may change in future.
yeah, and we develop using a vibe coding tool. Most of the time, we build the POC, and when the customers or client says that okay, we want to go ahead, and then we switch to manual development, right? Of course, with the help of AI, because AI speeds up some certain development processes, but then we switch from vibe coding to again manual coding. Is my understanding correct, Anurag?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyone else want to share? Okay. So I agree with you, Anurag, that that's the situation. I mean, that's what happens when you develop with vibe coding, and that's the reason why we want to start this spec coding, and we are promoting spec coding as a methodology of software development, because we have seen vibe coding. When I started developing vibe coding, I developed few applications, and then after some point it felt like we cannot go beyond this, and the amount of code that it generates, and then we don't know what exactly is written where, and that's when it became like, this is the point where we have to stop and then switch to manual coding. Yeah, so and then we came across spec coding, and then I will share what is the difference between spec coding, vibe coding, and spec coding, and why we want to promote this. So a brief about myself. So I'm the founder of Navan AI and also the creator of SAM. So SAM is a autonomous workflow agent, which is like a stack of AI agents that work as an autonomous workflow for software development. So Navanaya is the company name, and the SAM is the product that we have at this point of time. So SAM takes your requirement, converts it into requirement specs, and then it decides which workflow to take. And so there are multiple agents in the pipeline, and then they build your application. So starting from your requirement to PRD, and then from PRD to user stories, and from user story to actual code. Um, yeah. So I'm sure most of you have heard vibe coding, but um, you know, so what I'm getting right now is maybe spec coding is a new term for most of you. But if you're already familiar with spec coding, maybe you can, also let me know what's your experience in spec coding. So in my experience, vibe code is something like, you want to build something that looks like this. When you start off, you think your idea is something like this. Then so you say, okay, you give a prompt to the AI saying that, okay, create a blue object, and then the AI gives you an object like this. And then you improve. You think that, okay, maybe the edges have to be smooth, and then you give another prompt saying that, okay, smoothen the edges. Then you realize that no, I think I need uh, uh, even more like the edges. I do not want the sides also be a straight line. The sides also have to be smoothened. So you give a prompt like, oh, the sides also should be curved, and then you keep giving instruction till you get something. But actually, you wanted a circle, a blue circle, and you end up something like this, which that's the reason why uh, I hear you, Anurag, saying that, okay, at some point of time you decide that, okay, this is no more doable, because the vibe coding, you build the product by giving instruction after instructions, and the AI builds based on those instructions. And often we have seen a lot of technical debt that builds up after every instruction. So that's the reason why we suggest that people should switch from vibe coding to spec coding. And in this context, I mean, I've oversimplified this problem. Somebody who wants to build a circle, which is a blue circle. So what exactly spec coding looks like? So instead of giving instructions one after another, you prepare your instructions and write down all at once. So you want to have an object which is like a blue circle. So you write down your instruction that, okay, I want to create a circle with radius 2 centimeters, and fill the circle with this color, and fill the circumference with, maybe if you have a different color. So maybe I have oversimplified vibe coding and spec coding. You see a lot of instruction here in vibe coding and only this instruction. But in actual spec coding, that's not the case. So you give an instruction, you interact with the agent, then the agent maybe the agent prepares the spec. If you do not want to prepare the entire spec, you interact with the agent and build the spec. Then take that spec to the agent, and let the agent build from there. So that's what is spec coding. And so I'll skip this and come back to it later. So maybe why spec coding is important, because while doing vibe coding, we do not follow the SDLC life cycle. Any product, any software product that you develop has to go through a software development life cycle, right? Because you do a requirement gathering, and then the requirement goes, take that requirement and prepare a PRD. Then you take the PRD and prepare your technical architecture, and then convert the PRD into epics, and then user stories. Then you start implementing the user stories, and then you do the unit testing and the integration testing maybe. So when in vibe coding, we straight away jump from the requirement to the implementation. We skip all the other stages which are actually important stages where we define the requirement, break it down into user stories, define for every user story, we define an acceptance criteria, and that's what makes a product, right? So if you build something with vibe coding, you directly move into the implementation stage with only the requirements in hand, and then because the agent gets the requirement line by line, then it starts working in a way, and at every instruction it adds a technical debt, um, right? And so that's the reason why we decided to switch to spec coding. And spec coding is a methodology where we develop application using the software development lifecycle. So what happens in spec coding is you take your requirement, feed that requirement to the agent, or you interact with the agent. The agent can prepare the PRD for you. So the agent will ask you certain questions, like for every requirement, it asks you certain questions and then prepares the PRD for you. Then you take the PRD and feed it to your coding agent. It could be Cloud Code, or it could be Codex, or Gemini, or it could be Cairo from AWS, or any other tool that you are familiar with, or maybe Cursor, or you can even take it to um, Lovable, Vercel, and other hosted solutions, which are pretty much more autonomous compared to your IDE tools, right? So yeah, I mean, so these are some of the tools that you can use for spec development. Basically, all these tools, they by default do not have a spec coding feature except Cairo and BMAD. So BMAD is like BMAD, SAM, and Cairo. These are some of the tools that provide a framework where you can do spec coding. And there are specialized agents where you feed the requirement to the agents in order to convert the requirement into PRD, and from PRD to user stories, and then user stories to your code. Any questions so far? So maybe I'll show you how SAM converts a requirement into PRD, and then I'll also show you how SAM works how the SAM autonomous agents work. So this is how the SAM. So you need a GitHub login, and then we have a PRD generator, and you can say that, okay, I want to add a new PRD. Is my screen visible?
Yes, yes, it's good.
Yeah. So here you have to select your GitHub repository. So when you sign in, you give access to your GitHub repository, and SAM has access to your code after that. Then you can say that, okay, I want to. So this is a website for our coding academy, and this is how it looks like. Give me a second, son. Yeah, so this is the website, and you can see that there is no blog section here. So what I'm trying to do is I want to have a feature called blogs on my website. So this is your requirement, and then when you yeah, there are some noise. So this is a requirement that you want to build a blog for this website, right? So once you give this instruction, then the AI, SAM agent starts asking you certain questions, and then you keep answering, and then it builds your PRD. So here it asks me, what problem does this solve? Like I want to uh, promote uh, my. So it asks, okay, who are your prospective customers? You can say that, okay, my prospective customers is actually software professionals. Okay, so it's asking whether you need to have any specific feature. Then you can, you keep answering this question. Should have a sidebar, and then tagging, search. Okay, it's asking whether do you want any specific content build? So I maybe build a demo content uh, for spec coding. So, okay, I think we are done with this requirement. And then I say, okay, just prepare the PRD. And then it starts preparing a PRD, which is in a JSON format. And then it gives you an UI where you can edit this PRD. And then you take this PRD and, you can give it to any coding agent to build on top of this this PRD. Right now, this section is still under development, but from here, we can send this information to the SAM agents, and then the SAM agents can start building using this PRD. I can show you how we are currently building, because this UI is pretty new. But this agent actually works based on, you can create a new issue here, and then it starts building using the same process. But here it doesn't ask you questions, but it's actually starts building. So I can create a issue. So almost same thing what I discussed with the agent and the target audience, I would say software. So once you give this instruction, it goes to the server, and then the server's agents actually start working on it. So, so for every workflow, we have multiple agents. So for every stage of the workflow, we have multiple agents, and at the first step, we have a planning agent that breaks down your task. Then we have a architecture agent who converts your requirement into an architecture. and then we have a verifier. So it verifies your PRD as well as your architecture and then approves. So right now we have this agent which is Pete who is working and building, breaking down the task. I had given the same instruction, previously, and then you can see the issues. So, basically, after planning, is done, it creates a PRD, and then it commits the PRD, and then Veron looks at the uh, PRD and compares with your requirement and then approves. Then we have a development agent, and so the development agent. So this is the agent. This is the triage or planning agent. Prepares a complete implementation plan, starting from and list down all the tasks in sequence. Like you need to create a blog, uh, create a blog post data, and then blog card component, blog sidebar component, the barrel export component. Then there is a listing page. Then there is a individual blog post page, header navigation, and so on. And then for every task, there is a subtask and there's acceptance criteria. So once Veron approves all the task, then it goes to the development agent, and the development agent starts preparing, and then there is so it starts implementing all the tasks one by one. So task 1 by 2, 2 by 2, 2 by out of 12. So there are 12 tasks, and then it starts building on top of each one. And then once it is done, then it completes everything, and then it creates a PR. Creates a pull request, and you can see there is a pull request here. So so right now I have stopped the building for this one. That's why I did not build, but otherwise it's actually completed the entire task of creating the blog, and then it deploys. Yeah. So any questions? Okay. So maybe I go back to slides. Yeah. So these are some of the IDs and workflows that you can use for spec coding. The IDs by default do not provide spec coding. I think Cairo, so Cairo has a spec coding option, and anti-gravity has a planning option where you can do spec coding. Then BMAD is a framework that you can download, and you can do spec coding using BMAD. Then I'm sure you are aware of Cloud Code and all these, but these are command line interfaces, or they have a UI interface, but mostly they provide CLI that you can directly, or you can download a extension for VS Code, for Cloud Code. Yeah. Any questions?
No, sir. I think we get something, learn new something here.
Yeah. So yeah, we are launching a cohort where we are going to teach how to develop applications, your web app or any application. So right now, the tools that you see mostly like Replit or Lovable or even V0, we have a V0 ambassador here, but most of the applications are for web applications. I mean, so most of the tools that you see online, they are for web applications. But there are, um, you know, its web app is not the only application, right? So there are other kinds of applications that people work on, and that's where I think it's important to learn methodology or technology that help you build those applications in a new way. So we are launching this cohort, and maybe Varun, you want to share more?
Yeah, sure. So the cohort is, I mean, it's a boot camp, and the cohort is like every cohort will be different, and we are accepting or we are inviting only about 5 people for now in every cohort, so that we can make it a personalized experience for everyone, and also help, kind of do handholding for every person who is joining that cohort, right? Now, coming to what you get. So first is why you should join that cohort, if you should or if you could not. Now, like Santosh said, right, spec coding is one of the ways or one of the more mature ways to develop code and ensure that your code won't break in the long term. You can have the flexibility of scaling up as much as you want and adding new features or making changes and so on. Now, if you want to learn spec coding, if you're doing development, or if you have an idea and you want to build a product out of it, then spec coding is one of the uh, most logical ways, and at least in the current scenario, which will help you create or give shape to your idea. And that's one of the major reasons why you should join this cohort. And once you join the cohort, what do you get? So that's what you see on the screen here. We have the cohort which is divided into two parts mainly. The first part is for the first 2 weeks, where we talk about spec coding. We teach exactly how spec coding works, set up the entire infrastructure, how the software development cycle is, and then how do you use spec coding to initiate the entire software development cycle or follow the software development life cycle to create the product or the MVP that you want. And then from week 3 onwards, so week 3 and week 4, you'll actually start building your own app, your own MVP that you have. And the objective is that within 4 weeks or within 1 month, typically, you go from your idea to an MVP that you can show to investors, that you can take to the market and monetize and so on, right? So if that's your idea, that's the space you are in currently, that's what you're working on currently, then this is a great opportunity to accelerate, to learn something and accelerate your development. Looking at the alternatives, if you hire a dev agency or if you even hire freelancers, and it's going to be like 8 to 9 times costlier than that. So this is one way by which you get to learn something. You use AI agents to develop something while you can, focus on things that you like or that you enjoy, right? So development happens autonomously with spec coding, and that's where the power of AI is useful. So that's a little bit about the boot camp, the cohort. Yeah, Santosh, you want to add something?
Oh yeah. So basically, in the first 2 weeks, you will learn how to set up the spec coding infrastructure, and also you'll be able to build an application. You can build if you have some idea that you want to build during this 2 weeks. You can of course start building. But from week 3 onwards, we do a one-on-one coaching. Anyone who wants us to help them with their application. So if you're facing any issue, you have defined your application, but you are not able to make progress because the agent is not a human being still, right? We are using agents to build your application because it's faster, but at the same time, they may not understand certain things, and then we have to figure out ways to uh, teach them how to fix the bugs or identify. There could be some bugs where humans can fix faster than agents. So that's where we come in and help reducing your or removing your technical debts.
So yeah, I think that summarizes uh, the SAM offering, the product that we have, what spec coding is, and also the bootcamp that we are offering. And any questions that you guys have, please go ahead and unmute yourself and share away, share your questions, ask your questions. Meanwhile, I've shared a few links, useful resources in the comment section, so you can go through those. And in case you are interested in joining the bootcamp, the spec coding bootcamp, and want to build or need help in building your idea into an MVP, learn how to do that, then you just have to drop an email to us on connect@navin.ai. We're working on the landing page right now, which is what Santosh is also saying. So in a few days, that'll also be up. But till then, you can reach us. You can either reach out to us on personally on LinkedIn also, or you can just drop an email on connect@navan.ai, and we'll be able to have a conversation with you. We'd like to understand your idea and then guide you on how to go about it from the through the bootcamp. Any questions, suggestions, even from anyone? Right, so you can always join our community, and that's a community where we do keep sharing a lot of courses, content, informative material as well. You can network with others from the industry. It'll be a good opportunity to do that as well. So you can just scan the QR to join our community. I've even shared the link in our in the comments. Yeah. Ashutosh, you had a question or you'd like to share something?
Yeah, yeah. Hi, Varun. So I wanted to know the exact schedule that you'll be following for this boot camp and the cost that will be charged for, and what will be the exact duration? Because 2 weeks you mentioned, 3 weeks onwards, I believe it's a different kind of setup where one-to-one coaching is there. So can you precisely put some light on the exact schedule and the exact cost that is to be incurred for this boot camp?
Yeah. So the first 2 weeks is $500 for the boot camp, and after that, the one-on-one coaching is per week. It's $500, where we spend around uh, 2 to 3 hours per week coaching or handholding. In case you need more, then of course we are happy to. In case your problems are not getting solved within those 2 3 hours in a week, we will be happy to support you.
Okay, and in this first 2 week of boot camp, I believe you will be uh, particularly using that in-house cloud software that you have created, I guess, right?
No. So in the bootcamp, we will teach you uh, the methodology and not just the tool. And there are other tools where you can use. Other tools are there where to use for spec coding, and we will not only restrict to our in-house tool. And our in-house tool is not meant for IDE. And in the first 2 weeks, we'll be teaching you how to use the IDE. Uh, you know, it could be Cursor or VS Code, and build your specs using some of the frameworks that's already there in the market. So we do not have a IDE version. So obviously, will be teaching other tools that's there in the market.
Okay, and it ends at like finalizing the PRD, I believe, with
Oh no,
acceptance criteria and
actually,
stories.
it's not ends with the PRD. So you create the PRD. From the PRD, you create epics and stories, and from there you start implementing as well. So it ends with a running application at the end of week 2. So we build multiple applications within these 2 weeks. So starting with the first week itself, we understand how vibe coding works and how to build using vibe coding, and then week two we will cover. In fact, week one is not so much like only ends with vibe coding. We will start the PRD generation will start in the week one itself, and then week two we have time to build applications using spec coding. So we should be able to build at least 2 applications in week two.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions, feedback, suggestions from anyone? All right, then, yeah. Thank you everyone for joining, and you do have the links, resources that would be helpful to you. So hopefully we can see you again in our next webinar. So we'll be doing several webinars talking about spec coding. We're also planning to launch a podcast where we'll invite people who have built something using spec coding and share their story on how they went about going from white coding to spec coding and what was your experience with it as well. So keep tuned, stay tuned with us, and keep in touch. And we want to share as much as we can to help everyone use AI for development.
Thank you. Thanks everyone. Have a good day.